Hello, I'm Emily Loos with IBM, and it is with tremendous pride that I'm sharing the stage with Angel Petisco, who is well known among his peers as a leader for his vision and strategy in embracing technologies, enabling technologies that make a difference. So thank you for being here with me.
Thank you. Good morning.
We're going to focus this morning, or now this afternoon, on the new era in technology and business that is known as the cognitive era. So we all kind of wonder, well, what is that really? So I'm going to just show I think, a very brief 1-minute dissertation on it.
Invent, heal, laugh, explore, reason, share. Every day, we create poetry, equations, films, selfies, diagnoses, discoveries. A living record of our work, our ideas, and our aspirations. Capturing over 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. But 80% of this data is invisible to today's technology. We can't see it. We can't use it. IBM Watson can.
Hello, my name is Watson.
Watson is cognitive, designed to understand, reason, and learn. And everywhere, Watson is helping schools become cognitive, hospitals become cognitive, industries, professions, culture, products, services, and companies of all kinds are becoming cognitive. And when businesses think, we can outthink. Outthink complexity, outthink competition, outthink risk, outthink disease, outthink our biggest challenges, and outthink the limits of what's possible.
Welcome to the cognitive era. I'm here to help.
So the cognitive era is really the ability to learn from both structured and unstructured data so that we can gain insights and knowledge to make better decisions. As we know today, data is flowing from every mobile device, every sensitized device, every digital device, and this is all unstructured data. And yet, until today, 80% of this data has been unavailable to computers. If you consider that in healthcare, for example, there will be a 90% growth in data, and 84% of that data is unstructured. In government and education, the growth is going to be 94%, and yet 84% of that is unstructured. So we know that industry executives and government leaders are seeing the need to be able to use all of the data to make better decisions. So with that in mind, and Angel, we know that Miami-Dade County continues to expand and further diversify. And that, as a matter of fact, Miami-Dade County, out of all the counties in Florida, created the most jobs in the private industry jobs in the past 5 years, which equated to 117,000 new jobs here. So can you please let the audience know where Miami-Dade County is focused in providing services to its citizens and the opportunities and challenges facing the county in these focused service areas?
Sure. You just heard from my mayor, and a person in my position usually has part of our job is to make sure that we provide the right justification to move forward an agenda in computing, particularly in the cognitive area. In my particular case, I happen to be very fortunate. I happen to work for the gentleman who was here a few minutes ago. And quite frankly, my job of convincing him to do that is very easy. My job becomes difficult in trying to keep up with him and everything that he thinks of that we can do. In our particular case, it's about taking those 2.7 million residents, quite frankly, and empowering them. It's about taking government and having government get out of the way so that we support the direct services we're providing to the community, as opposed to beating the bottleneck in the middle. For that, what we're trying to do is we're trying to leverage as much technology as possible, particularly in the cognitive area. Okay, we went from an environment that was predictive, to prescriptive, to now cognitive. And it has a lot to do, if you really think about it, with the human brain, right? The left side of the human brain is the analytical one, the one that's good in math, the one that's good in logic, etc. Where technology has really had a challenge is with the other side of the brain, the creative side of the brain. The creative side of the brain that deals with spatial content and making that relationship. Well, today, there is technology that allows you to do facial recognition, and based on patterns of your face, it can determine your mood. Whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you're happy, etc. That now begins to get into that side of the brain that's really more the creative side, okay? And I am dying to download that technology, so when I get home, I can just scan my wife and determine whether I'm going to have a good afternoon or not, okay? But technology is taking us in areas that we've never really been before, or it's been possible, particularly with the Internet of Things. And in our particular case, what we really want to do is we want to empower the citizens so they can do as much services on their own, and that we're there to help those processes that haven't been automated or that we haven't delivered directly to them.
Thank you. Can you describe the latest opportunities and forward-thinking Miami-Dade is taking in some key industries such as transportation, water and sewer, communications, public safety, and how will taking advantage of data help with decisions critical at the county?
Well, that Hyperloop thing was really cool this morning, by the way. In the area of transportation, also very fortunate because one of my counterparts, which is Alice Bravo, which is the transportation director, is a very forward-thinking individual as well, okay? In the age of Internet of Things, we cannot rely on traditional ways of collecting data. If you're in the transportation business, it was very common for traffic engineers to study a location for a period of time, and based on that period of time, then input into traffic signalization what are the timing patterns to govern that area. Well, that doesn't work nowadays, particularly in Miami-Dade County. A flat tire changes the whole dynamic of the way traffic is today. So we have to rely on more and more on sensors, more and more on real-time information. And it is just not the traditional sensors of the stripes in the road or the cameras at intersections. It's every one of you. Because today, every one of you have apps that geoposition your location. And it allows those apps to say whether there's a traffic problem, whether there's an accident, and you input, you provide feedback instantaneously on what's happening. Our responsibility is to begin to take that information and harness it so that we can create, at the macro level, a heat map as to where traffic is in Miami-Dade County. What are the most congested areas and how we can begin to address that specific boulder one at a time so that our traffic becomes more organic than pre-described. We have a Miami Heat team, which by the way won yesterday. Very proud to say that.
Yeah.
Convincingly too. But everyone can agree that the traffic around the Miami Heat area where they play 2 hours before the game is radically different than during the game or 3 hours after. And no amount of pre-calculated timing on our signalization is going to address that. However, if we start taking real-time information, and real-time information begins to govern those traffic timings, then what we have is a very organic system that is adjusting to what's happening at the precise moment. And that's the way we can begin to improve traffic. We can also begin to improve traffic because nowadays we have technology and autonomous vehicles, etc., and we actually have vehicles that are protecting themselves from one another. That type of information can be very easily integrated into the future with traffic signalization. So the timing of our traffic signals is even more organic to what's happening at that very moment. In terms of water, we've begun, as the mayor said, to do a lot with analytics and leak detection. I'll give you a perfect example. Our park system In our park system, there's over 200 locations that we have. We spend about $5 million a year on aerating our parks. And what we found is through sensor detection and analytics is that we're able to determine where we have leaks quicker. And by doing that, we're estimating that throughout our park system, we can save as much as 20% of our spend. $1 million will fund our summer programs that keeps pools, kids' activities open during the summer. So reinvesting our own dollar a little bit wiser, we can continue to provide services without any additional tax burden on the citizen. So we're looking into that type of technology. In terms of communication, we have a fantastic 311 operation. Receives millions of calls. And there is another partner that I have in Insan Kim. She's director of that department. And one of the things that we're trying to do is we're actually trying to see if Watson can help. We operate 8 to 8, 6 days a week. We're trying to working with IBM and their engineers to see if we can have Watson begin to take calls. Make Watson a call center. And if we're able to do that, now Watson can operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And more importantly, it can operate in English, Spanish, Creole, French, German, pick the language, it can speak. And it's not there to replace the call takers, it's there to assist the call takers. And whatever service Miami-Dade County has, the moment we have it and we codify it, Watson knows about it. So Watson can speak towards that. So that's one of the goals we're trying to do. And then taking the calls isn't enough. What we need to do with those calls is then run analytics behind it. Why are we getting so many calls for a bulky trash pickup? Is it because we don't have enough avenues to request the service? Or potentially, do we have a problem in delivering the service? Do we have a problem in an area? Do we have a problem with a route? Do we have a problem with a driver? Without proper use of analytics, all that is foreign to us. So we're trying to take technology to help us go deeper into what we're trying to do. Public housing. Public housing, we are trying to create as degree possible through technology, through LED lighting, improved lighting. We're trying to provide Wi-Fi free for the residents of public housing. We're also providing cameras and gun detection systems so that if there's a situation, it can alert us to what's happening. It will go back to a real-time crime center in our police department, and we can get boots on the ground there as quickly as possible. So we're trying to improve public safety as well as citizen access through Wi-Fi. The mayor mentioned in our parks, we are attempting to use facial recognition. And the initial intent was to identify sexual predators because they are not supposed to be within X amount of feet of children, where children congregate. Well, that's one application. Think of this. If we get that down to the science that we need to get it to, in the acceptable amount of false positives, then what if there's a silver alert issue or an amber alert issue? We can use the very same technology to identify, and through facial matches, identify those individuals. Many of you may have family or know of someone with dementia. And I can tell you that as the day wears on, so does the disease, the effects of the disease. So finding someone as early as possible is critical to that family member. Through facial recognition and matching, we're hoping to make a dent in that. We're hoping to make things quicker so that we can identify that loved one quicker.